Welcome back to Java and Joy. We're going to be talking today about how you can flourish after 40 simply by watering your garden. And I'll explain what that means. It's going to be a good one. So settle in. That is going to be the topic. But as always, let me cover a few things before we kick off our episode. First of all, if you haven't already gotten my free 7-day metabolism reset guide, I don't know what you're waiting for. Go grab it. It's completely free. It's linked in all of my show notes. It is on my Instagram bio. You can pretty much find it everywhere, but you can also go to carlajoywellness.com. All of my coaching resources are there. It's a free guide. It's going to kickstart your metabolism and really just help you start feeling good leading into these warmer months. Get those energy levels up, and just feel better. And it's a completely free guide. So go check that out. And then if you are not already a member of the Joy Circle, I would be remiss if I don't mention this every single episode. The Joy Circle is my personal community of women, all ages. We have women in there in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s in there. And we do so many fun things. It's monthly challenges. We do a ladies' night once a month, which we just did ours yesterday for this month, which was so much fun. And we also do like check-in posts. We support each other. We encourage each other. And we celebrate all of our wins. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful community of women. So if you're just looking for a happy place, a place of positivity, a place where you can just, try to better yourself and be around other women who are doing the exact same thing and support each other in the process, the Joy Circle is where you want to be. Lots of other surprises to come in there too, but I always want to mention that. Again, everything is in the show notes, same website, same link in bio on Instagram. Go find it. But let's get settled into our episode. First of all, we have to do our warm-up. Guys. So get your coffee, your Java. What kind of Java are we drinking? I always love hearing that, by the way. Drop it in the show notes, will you? Tell me what's your favorite coffee. It could be your brand of coffee you drink at home. It could be your favorite Starbucks order. I don't care. I always want to know what is your favorites because it gives me ideas of things to try. Because I will never, ever get tired of trying coffee. So anyway, cheers to another episode. Cheers to this being you time, ladies. Please remember that this time that you're listening to this podcast, this is your time. It is not about everything else going on in your life or anybody else going on in your life. All the problems, the stress, the anxiety, the worries, the things are all going to still be there later. This is your time just for you. So relax, deep breaths, mugs up, bottoms up, right? As we like to say. And just let go of all that tension and anything that you are currently holding. And let's celebrate joy moments. My joy moment of this week would honestly have to be the first real time I got to consecutively or consistently spend in my garden. We finally had consistent warm temps. I got to have my breakfast every single day last week in my garden, and I just expanded my garden. I actually have a nice little bistro table and chairs for me to sit and actually enjoy my garden this year instead of just going out there, tending it, and then watching it from a distance. I get to be in it now, and I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. I just sit there, I listen to the birds chirp, I look at the trees, I watch my garden grow and thrive, and it's absolutely amazing. So that has created some really nice joy moments for me. So that's mine for this week. And always please share your joy moments. You can drop them in the comments. You can take pictures of whatever brings you joy. You don't even have to be in them. You can take a picture of your coffee cup or maybe your garden, post it on social media and tag me at Carla Joy Wellness. It encourages others to find joy in the, simple moments of life. It encourages people to take a break and a pause and soak things in a little longer. And just pay that positivity forward. And I also like to grab some of those and share those in my Instagram stories and Facebook stories with my community. And sometimes I grab random people to give away coffee gift cards to, just for sharing the positivity. So Go do that with your joy moments. All right? Okay. I think we're settled. Let's get into the episode. So the official title, I think, of this episode is going to be Flourish After 40, Water Your Garden. And then in parentheses, mind. So our garden is our mind today. And while this does have an underlying tone of mindset, it's kind of a different take on mindset because I feel like we've heard the same thing over and over with mindset. And this is just a new perspective of it. But I really do want you at this point, just for this episode, I want you to picture your mind like a garden. Just for now. Hear me out here, okay? I'm going to play a little like visualization games today. Because here is the truth, ladies. What you water grows. We know that. That's like life fact, right? So if you're always watering things like fear, doubt, negativity, worry, those things are going to be what take over. But if you water your mind with things like gratitude, prayer, affirmations, encouragement, faith, hope, that's what's going to begin to grow there. And you deserve a mind that feels peaceful and strong and joyful. And that's what's going to give you a full life. So we have to kind of retrain like how we are watering our minds on a daily basis. I want you to really think about a real garden here for a second. You don't just plant flowers, water them once, and then expect them to flourish and thrive and be there forever without care, correct? You have to consistently water them. You have to pull the weeds around them. You have to make sure they're getting proper sunlight. You have to protect them. And you have to be patient with them. And your mind works the exact same way. It really is that simple. You can't speak like harshly to yourself every day and then expect your confidence to bloom, right? You can't constantly replay like worst case scenarios in your mind and then expect peace to grow. You can't keep comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel and expect joy to flourish. I mean, how many of us watch social media constantly and see everyone just on these lavish vacations and living these extravagant lifestyles? And all we're really seeing is the good, the good, the good. Very few are actually showing their struggles or what's going on behind the scenes, so to speak. So we're only seeing highlight reels. And then we're comparing our life to theirs. And then we wonder why our joy is diminished. So at some point we have to ask ourselves, like, what am I watering? Like, am I watering thoughts that help me grow? Or am I watering thoughts that keep me stuck or move me in the opposite direction of where I want to go? Because so many of us are trying to become the best versions of ourselves while we're still feeding the old version of ourselves. And this is like where we have to be honest with ourselves a little bit here. And I'm included in this, by the way. I am not preaching. I'm coming right at myself with this. We say we want confidence, and then we criticize our own bodies. We say we want peace, and then we basically keep rehearsing every fear that we have. We say we want joy, but we focus on all the things that are missing. We say we want growth, but we keep speaking defeat into our lives. And this is not about pretending life is perfect, by the way. This is not about like toxic positivity. Everything is sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. It's not about ignoring hard things and pretending that they don't exist. It's about choosing what gets the majority of the space in your mind. There's always going to be the space for the other things, but we have to like rearrange and give the negative things the less space and the positive things the bigger space, right? So like think of it as like your house, like the positivity, the watering of your garden, these positive thoughts and actions, they should get like the master suite of your mind. And then all the negative things, the problems, the issues, the worries, those should get like a corner in your basement. Maybe like a closet in the basement. And that's where those should live. So we can acknowledge bad things. We can acknowledge hard things, but it doesn't mean we have to build our home there, right? And we can fear things without letting fear lead us. And we can have a bad day without deciding to have a bad life. That is how mindset works. And I think we constantly tell ourselves like, well, if I just, once in a while remind myself of the good, that's going to be enough. And that's not the case. You can't once in a while water your garden. You can't go out in that garden once a week and water it and it's going to survive. At least not in most climates. I'm in the Midwest, so good luck with that in July, especially, right? You have to stay on top of it. It has to become part of your daily ritual, which if you didn't hear last week's episode, please go back and listen to that too. And it just talks about like more on the self-care level and taking care of ourselves and being diligent about making it a consistent thing. But mindset's going to work the same way too. And it's going to matter how we water our gardens. Okay. And I'm just going to name a couple things here that I feel like are some of the most powerful ways to water our gardens. There are other ways as well. We're all very different, right? We have different ways that we fill our buckets. But for me, one of my biggest ones is prayer. And when I pray personally, it just kind of like reminds me that I'm not carrying everything alone. And that just makes me feel like I've got, like that army of strength behind me, like knowing that God's in my corner, right? That is something that just helps alleviate so much weight off of my shoulders. Now, prayer, by the way, doesn't have to be like, my God may not be your God, and that is perfectly fine. Maybe, you're more of a naturist, or maybe you have other beliefs. But most of us believe in something that contributes to a higher cause, a higher power, or a beginning, or something, right? Whatever that is, that's what I'm telling you to pray to, for, about. And I think when we do that, we automatically will realize that we are part of something bigger, and that some of the things we worry about are like a tiny little speck of a dot of dirt on a much bigger canvas. And I think that's where the power of prayer really lies. It really grounds us and makes us realize how insignificant some things really are, that we're giving way, way too much power to. So for me, when I pray, I say things like, God, help me today. God, bring me peace. What should the next step be? And prayer brings me back to the truth. And the truth is we are a very small piece of a very large puzzle. And it helps me quiet the noise. It just resets me, so to speak. So I think for me, prayer also like allows me to grow without having to really strive harder and add more things to my life. It allows me to grow internally by surrendering. And that's just something I encourage anybody to practice. Like I said, no matter who or what you believe in, praying and asking for support from whatever that greater good is going to help you feel like you are not alone. Because you're not. We're not alone. There's something somewhere, guys. Let's be real, right? There's something somewhere. So that's why I think there's a huge power in prayer. And I think that it helps water the mind tremendously. And if you can fit it into your day, me personally, I bookend my day with prayer. I start it and I finish it with prayer. So that to me is a big one. And this kind of ties in real close to the second one, and that's gratitude. And I will never stop talking about gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what you already have. And I truly believe like we're not going to be given more than what we already are grateful for. So it's really important to be grateful for what we do have, regardless of what that is. And it doesn't mean that everything is easy and that you're grateful for a perfect life. Even in the middle of messy, you can still notice the good. So I'm talking about like, you can be grateful for a warm cup of coffee. Cheers to that. I know I am every single time. I'm grateful when my body carries me through another day. I am grateful for every quiet moment that I get. I am grateful for every little piece of progress I make towards every goal that I set. I'm grateful for every lesson that I've learned, even the hard ones. because I know that I got all these things. They may not be huge things, but I'm grateful for them. Big one for me is my health. Every single day I talk about how grateful I am for my health, because I have experienced and seen and known and personally been through things with my health and those around me, that I know how quickly things can change, and how even my health issues weren't even a scratch or a dent compared to what other people are going through. So I try to pray and be gratitude every single day for my health. And those are just some examples, right? But gratitude is sunlight for the soul. It's, for me, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I guess maybe prayer is my watering and like the gratitude is the sunlight. But either way, we're watering our garden with prayer and gratitude, okay? And the more you practice it, the more you will like start to see those little pieces of joy everywhere that you never really kind of thought about on a regular basis. Kind of forces you to be grounded in that regard as well. Another one that I think is important and that's going to water your garden, and that I think most women overlook, is affirmations. And I know people think affirmations are cheesy, but like, what's the alternative here? So if we're repeating things to ourselves all day long, which we are constantly, especially as women, it's like a replay button that's just stuck on all the time. And we're always saying things like, I'm behind, I'm not good enough, I'll never figure this out, I'm overwhelmed, I'm too old, I'm too late, I always mess things up, I can't do this, this is too hard. We're constantly playing these things in our mind every single day. So we're giving it energy. And we have to start being intentional and try speaking life over ourselves instead of these horrible negative things. So we can, instead of saying these things to ourselves every day, we could be saying things like, I am growing, I am learning, I'm allowed to begin again, I can do hard things, I'm not behind, I'm on my own path, God is not finished with me yet, I am worthy of peace, I am worthy of joy, I am worthy of love. And those words matter, because when you speak to yourself over and over and over again, it becomes part of what you believe about yourself. So if you're going to sit and tell yourself a narrative every single day, just switch the narrative. Will it fix it in one day? Probably not. But with that repetition, speaking gently to yourself, being thankful, speaking truthfully to yourself, being kind, and speaking with love, talk to yourself like you would talk to your best friend. Talk to yourself like you would talk to your daughter or your son, or, you know, like, talk to yourself in a way that you would want to be spoken to. And do it over and over again. Okay? That's what affirmations do for you. They rewrite the narrative. They rewrite the script. And eventually you'll just start believing it, which is way more fun. And if you're going to give your energy to something, just give it to that instead. Take it away from the other and give it to that instead. It doesn't cost you any extra energy. We're just switching where we're putting the energy, right? Sound good? Okay. So we've talked about ways to water our garden: prayer, affirmations, gratitude. But we also have to talk about pulling the weeds out of our garden, because they will take over if you don't stay on top of them, right? Think about weeds in your mind. Things like comparison, perfectionism, fear, shame, self-doubt, negative self-talk. Sometimes we have to pause and say, this thought is not helping me grow, or this thought is not true. This thought is just fear talking, right? Or this fear cannot take root here. You don't have to believe every thought you think, which is really important to remind yourself, by the way. Because just because a thought shows up, it doesn't mean that it deserves some permanent place in your garden, right? So think about just a random weed that pops up next to your flowers or your tomato plant. Just because it's there doesn't mean it deserves a spot to remain there. In fact, the longer you leave these things there, the more they're going to spread, the more they become toxic and spread to all your plants, right? So we got to start plucking them out. They got to go. They cannot be there. So when you notice these weeds, notice them first, then you have to challenge them and choose something better. And choosing yourself and choosing the more positive sign is how you become more aligned with who you are, and you become the best version of yourself. And by the way, the best version of yourself is not perfect. So let's just get that out of the way. We're not trying to be perfect here. We're trying to live with joy. There's two different things. We are not trying to be a perfect version of ourselves. We are trying to be a happy, healthy, and joyful version of ourselves. So when you become more aligned that way, you have peace. You can be confident, joyful, grounded, and just more you. Now that's going to happen a little by little. It's going to be like, one prayer at a time, one grateful thought at a time, one kinder word to yourself at a time, one better choice at a time. It's going to take, one weed pulled at a time, one more seed planted, one more watering session, one day at a time. Growth is not always loud. It's not always in your face. Sometimes growth is very, very behind the scenes. Sometimes growth, and this is something that I've really taken heart lately. Sometimes growth is like simple as like choosing not to spiral. Like when I catch myself getting ready to go down one of those days and I choose not to, I still have the feels, I still have the problem, but I choose not to let it spiral my entire day. That is a huge win for me. I chose to let it be the moment that it is and not my entire day. That is growth. Allowing myself an extra 20-minute rest break during a day when I'm just feeling overwhelmed or a little more tired or whatever, that is growth. If I try something and it doesn't work, so I try it again in a different way or I give it another shot, that is growth. So we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to be who we used to be, by the way. Who you used to be is gone. She's done. Bye-bye. You are not going to be the person that you were 10 years ago. Let her go. Let her go. Enjoy who you are now in the season that you're in and be proud of her and find joy in the place that you are in life currently. Okay? So I'm going to give you a challenge here for this week. So every morning before you get on your phone, you're going to water your garden. You're going to drink your water too, which is part of it. Drink your water before your coffee, ladies. But you're going to do a few things. You're going to do a simple prayer. And again, if you're not religious, that's fine. Pray to the trees for bringing you more oxygen, whatever. Okay. It doesn't matter. We're praying. We're praying for a bigger vision, right? So I want you to do some simple prayer. I want you to name 3 things that you are grateful for. And it can be as simple as the coffee you're going to have and learn a little bit, or the breakfast you're about to have. It could be the shoes that you're putting on your feet. Doesn't matter. 3 things that you're grateful for. And then you're going to speak one affirmation to yourself. And by speak, I mean out loud. I do not mean telling yourself in your head that you're amazing. No, you're going to say it out loud. I am amazing. Bonus points if you say it in a mirror, because we are visual people and things seem to sink in better for us when we see them versus just hearing them. So if you could do that in a mirror, you get bonus points for that. Okay. But prayer, gratitude, affirmation. Okay. And that's before the world has a chance to speak to you, before life has a chance to speak to you. You're going to speak to yourself first every day. That allows you to get ahead of any other stresses, anything else to get louder, right? No time to let comparison creep in. It's your time to set the tone for your day before other things get in the way. Because we know that once our day gets going, sometimes it's just a roller coaster. So that's why I feel like it's so important to start your day with these practices. Water your garden first thing in the morning. Your mind is your garden. What you water will grow. So this week, I want you to be extra mindful of what you are feeding yourself. I want you to water yourself with peace, with joy, with faith. I want you to water yourself with confidence and hope. And I want you to water the woman you are becoming. the woman that you truly want to be, that version of yourself that has joy. She's already in there, ladies. She's there, but you got to water her. You have to nurture her. She needs care. She needs patience. She needs love. She needs watered. You have to tend your garden every single day. Non-negotiable. So go water your garden so you can flourish. Whether you're over 40 or not, this is great life advice. Do it no matter what. But after 40, it becomes even more important, and it becomes something that we have to be extra diligent about to stay on top of. Because usually at this point in life, we're wearing a lot of hats and we just lose ourselves a little easier. We're becoming a different version of ourselves at this age, and things are changing mentally, physically, all the things, right? So we have to be extra diligent about that daily watering of our garden. Daily. Okay. Not when I have time. This is every day. Okay. So go water your garden, ladies, so you can flourish. And let me know. Let me know how it goes. All right. All right. Let's take one last sip. Cheers of our Java. And let's shift our mindset, get ready to take on the rest of our day. I hope this episode poured joy into your day as always. And I would love it if you could share this with a friend, someone that needs to hear this. I'm sure you know someone. Please share. If you could take the time to leave me a review, it takes you 60 seconds, costs you nothing, and it helps me tremendously be able to continue to bring you these episodes, as well as reach new people and help them find their joy as well. And I appreciate all the love and support that you guys constantly show me. I hope to see you all soon inside the Joy Circle. If you need any resources, further support, all the links, like I said, will be in my comment section in the description of this video or on the podcast notes. Or if you're listening to me on the radio, shout out to my radio listeners. You can go to carlajoywellness.com. All of my resources are there. Go have a look, browse. Always feel free to reach out and say hey to me and let me know if you have questions. I'm on every social media platform, basically, at Carla Joy Wellness, Carla with a K. So you can find me there, and I hope to see you all there. All right. So have an amazing week, ladies. Until next time, keep finding your joy one sip at a time.